can see. So glad that you made time to join us. Hii program inaitwa Youth Space. This is where we give the youth the space to speak about what is happening in their life, the things that is culturally out of our mind sometimes, the things that they are going through, so that we can get a chance to understand them. Because sometimes we feel like we youths are always being told what to do and how to do it and when to do it, right? But if we work in that space, that's where we have a gap between one generation to the other. And we're so glad that Cast TV has given us this opportunity where we bring youths from the age of 22 and below. Ile siku mtafika 24, you guys are kicked out of here. You know, so that they can come and just let us into their mind and what is going on in their head. And ours is to just listen and get to understand them, because even as you're watching me there at home, I'm sure you have a sibling, you have a child, you have whatever it is you call them, right, in your home. And one way of having a conversation with them, because whether we like it or not, this is a generation that is totally different. They're working in a lifetime of internet and opportunities that some of us we grew up with. It's not like we're that old or anything, but still there are some of the things that we can learn from them, and of course try to understand them. And that's why I'm so excited that for the last 2 episodes, and I'm really hoping you've been following up on this conversation. If not, this is the time, the place where we have conversation about some of the things that is affecting the youths in Kenya. We've been talking about the issue of internet, and through that, some of the topics have been coming up. I think the last episode was on body image. Today we are going to talk about something else that can't be escaped, and unfortunately this is something that some people don't learn up until they're our age. You know, you're out here working and then you understand, oh my goodness, you have to have confidence in yourself so that other people can have confidence on you. So this topic of today is really something that I'm passionate about, and I'm excited to understand their point of view when it comes to self-confidence. And unfortunately, when you're talking about self-confidence, there's this thing behind it that can't be avoided, anxiety, which is a disorder actually. And even as we are living in a society where we understand mental health issues, anxiety is one of those disorders that is said to be the number one, right? Some of us have experienced it one way or the other. I have actually, and that's why today we're starting it a bit differently. I just want to hear your story of a pleasant time where you felt anxious and where that thing came from, right? I can give you a short example. Sometimes unatuma risky message and then you want to switch off your phone, ama upigie Safaricom umwambie please stop that. That's an anxiety trying to creep in, but there's a short-term anxiety, and then it builds up from that. Unfortunately, there are those people who can't get out of that feeling of fear, scared, when it comes to interacting with other people, right? But before we get to the deep of it, because hey, we have to, kuna ile story unaweza nipea a place or time where you felt anxiety creeping in? Yeah. Mi nishawapea example yangu, si ndio? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I can't really recall, but I think some time back, I think after Form 4, yeah, I was not sure with what I was supposed to do. By then, I have some funny story of how I was dumped by some girlfriend. Yeah, she was. We were not actually dating, ilo jinga class 4 5 whatever, but yet ilikuwa imeenda overboard mpaka Form 4. So a lot of things happened in my life at once, like she left me. I wanted to do law. Yeah, I'm called to do education in Presbyterian University. A university by then we did not know what was happening or something. So when that happened, and now I'm here now trying to portray myself and put myself in the public place as a speaker, because all I wanted to do in my life is speak and talk to people, talk lives and talk heart to peoples. And so it happened that there is a time I was invited to speak at a church. It was a youth function on Saturday. I dressed the way I've wanted to dress because my dad is a preacher, and sometimes he's been invited to preach at a place, and maybe something happens, he does not go there, so he sends me. So here I am in a t-shirt because nimesikia ni rally ya mayouth, siwaja ni venye najivaa. Na nilipofika huko nikapata wasema mpiga masuti. In fact, nikafika nimekuja na nduthi. Ya, nimefika na nduthi, Bible, nini. So nikaingia church, nimekaa nyuma ya church, bado anangoja ule msee alitumwa huko nje na mimi niko ndani. But then I ended up not speaking because hata singeongea tena. By the time wana realize ni mimi, ni time service iko inaendelea, bado wako wanangoja huko nje, but it's me, I'm inside there. So I was like, they expected me to be in a certain way, and now that is just one of the things. A lot of things happened that time in my life that ended up injuring my self-esteem.
I
Yeah.
hear you.
My story. Okay, immediately I was out of Form 4. I met this guy. So we had started dating. Then we will see this stage up by kila mtu anaweka boyfriend wake kwa DP. So I did so. Kuimpress nini uma.
Couple goals.
Exact couple goals, you know. Mimi nikaeka hapo DP ya mtu. Then okay, it happened like that was in school. Then akani text like, what's the meaning of what is in your DP? And I was like, so what am I going to do? But you know, he's a teacher, so you understand definitely psychology naye amesoma. But I had to say the way this guy has gone under an operation and it was successful. Hadi wa leo mzaya hajaicho.
Amejua leo.
But what I loved about it, hapo kwa about yangu nilikuwa nimeandika, and it has been God all through. So you know, the relationship. God, it's been good. But I was so anxious about this because I felt like I've even not gone to university, but my dad already like started like, why are you questioning me? So I was like, I felt like it wasn't me. Hadi siku like when dad came home jioni, mimi nayo I had gone to the bedroom and tusipatane tena the following day. Like I spent like a whole week hide and seek with the dad.
Okay, mine, I'll talk about the day tulikuwa tuna contestia Mr. and Miss Pwea. All through nilikuwa very anxious because watu wenye nilikuwa na practice na wao, they were like, ni first year, amekuja juzi, sisi tumekuwa tukipractice. So mimi sikuwa nimeshika venye nafaa kuwalk on the stage. So I was so anxious. Na nikitembea ni trip juu ya heels, juu ni lazima ukuwe na 6 inch. So I was so anxious from the beginning to the end. Siku yenye tulikuwa tuna contest sasa, because I was like, sasa nani ata win? Naweza win kweli? Mimi ni first. Evil, those mixed emotions.
True. Maureen, the way that the thing is working by you.
According to me, I can say I've gone through a lot, and kila mari, I don't know it's part of me ama nitasemaje, because most of the times nakuanga anxious. Most of the times, because even right now I can be anxious. Let's say tunaelekea kumaliza the semester and nikifikirianga tu exam, I'm so anxious, like I can read mpaka hata mtu utastuka ukiniona, you'll be like, are you really okay? Hata kama nikusoma, it doesn't have to be this way. Another thing, I remember when I was joining campus, you know, like marks nilikuwa nimepata na yenye nilikuwa na expect kupata haikuwa the same. They were two different, and by then I was so anxious because I didn't know sasa nitachagua nini, what can I do, because in my mind I knew like this is now your career, you can't change, like kitu umechukua ni kitu utaishi kufanya maisha yako yote. Then I was like, what can I find? Kuna mzazi anakuambia hapo ufanye education, mwingine anakuambia hapo ufanye hii, mwingine anakuambia ufanye hii, then that anxiety takes better part of you. Yeah.
I wanted to start with the examples because it means each and every of us, I can't speak for everyone, but 99% of the people have in one place or another experienced anxiety, right? And what you've just mentioned, that's something that is anxious, right? But there, when it comes to anxiety now, can you imagine that feeling, right? We all mention it, yeah? You feel like when you're simanga dunia ifunguke, it measures you. You feel like you need to run to the washroom and all that. There are those people who suffer social anxiety day in, day out. Like this is the normal for them, you know? And one thing probably they won't understand is it happens to everyone, but it all comes down to how we're dealing with that one way or the other, right? You said something very important. Ukifika church that day, you couldn't even present on that time. Does that mean that you've never gone ahead and presented before? Miss Kenya, like right now, even here, sitting here and having a conversation with the people at home, this is something that there's this word I really feel contradictory with, yeah, inaitwanga fake it until you make it, yeah. But unfortunately, when it comes to those people who suffer from anxiety, you have no option, right? So that's why we started the story, but now I have to introduce you guys because when someone is watching at home and like, who are these guys who are speaking to us? Of course, we have Maureen, Ezra, Sheila, and Aima here speaking about the issue of anxiety versus self-confidence and how one thing that can't be avoided, especially for the young people growing up, yeah, it's cultivating self-confidence from the beginning, and it's work, right? So probably what we can develop from this conversation is how, again, you manage to carry yourself from there, because first experiences can make someone feel like this is it. Public speaking is not for me. I feared that there was given an opportunity, I couldn't do it. When it comes to relationship, because there are those people who actually, because of how their parents react to their relationship, they don't know how to deal with the opposite sex, right? So probably, what is it that keeps pushing you to face your fear when it comes to anxiety and dealing with the world?
As you've said that anxiety is always there and it's normal. Actually, I can say it's normal. I don't know how I will put it, because we always become anxious, and it's always different, because you'll find that some people, they can't deal with anxiety. Ndio unapata kuna mtu atajilock kwa room yake because amekosana tu na mzazi wake kwa sababu ya relationship tu yake. And some people will just go out like everything is normal. Anxiety is there and it's different, but the way you deal with it is what matters a lot, because at times you just have to accept that this is what it has happened. It's not supposed to be this way, it's supposed to be this way, and unajipa nguvu. You see this saying that says never ever give up. Hapo sasa ndio unafaa kujiambia I should not give up and I should do this thing. It's me and me alone, so I have to get out and do something that I know itanisaidia.
Face your fears.
Face your fears, yeah.
I hear you.
The last time I think we are here, I said a quote that I don't know in Kales Jiu anasemaje, but my dad once told me that if you happen to fear darkness, you don't run away from darkness. You venture into darkness itself and face it. You know, life is meant to be faced. Everyone is suffering from something. Everyone, don't just live life for the sake of living life. Grow through it. So grow through that challenge. At the time you're faced with anxiety daily, jioni, go and look at yourself in the mirror. Present yourself in the mirror and say that, wow, I'm beautiful. Wow, come on. How many people tried doing what you're doing and they failed? Meaning that, yani mi huona like, kuna watu walikufa at 12, hawakulive life kufikia 18 penye niko. So I'm a champion of my own. Kuna wase hawakufika campus, mi nimefika campus. I'm a champion of my own. So I'll just say celebrate those small wins. Don't look at the negative aspect of anxiety and it. Celebrate ile small wins zingine umekuwa nazo. Kama hiyo area umekuwa affected nayo, angalia ni wapi kwingine nilifanya vizuri. If it is in class that a teacher has amenitusi ama amefanya kitu mbaya, wewe angalia na si huwa nacheza futa fiti na si wasendo wananiita hawezi cheza futa bila kuniita, so I'm good at it. So appreciate yourself, celebrate those small wins. Hizo ndo zijadi add up. The Bible says that do not despise these days of small beginnings because they'll be used as a milestone. So hizo vitu ndogo ndogo ndo muhimu. So acha kuangalia the anxiety or what is happening with your life currently or venye watu wanakukastigate or something. Angalia, shift your mind to the other place. Ni nini nimefanya vizuri? Yeah, appreciate yourself for those small things.
Wow, I love what Ezra said. He has said about small wins. The same thing I'll say, in every fear there's always a strength. So mostly for me, anxiety, like I always solve my anxiety through my strengths. Like if Sheila, your stronghold is on this, then focus on your strengths, not your fear. And if it's your fear, find someone to talk to. I've got a friend, is called S. S came up with the S Talk podcast, which actually relates to people and talks about anxiety. So if you can't talk to yourself, please talk to someone. There are people outside there who can help you solve your anxiety. Go listen to podcasts, read books on anxiety, and you can solve them. But above all, always remember that in every fear there's always a strength. So work on your strengths.
I'm going to talk about 2 scenarios in my life. First, I'll talk about my Form 4. When I was in Form 4, nilianguka. nilianguka, but nilikaa chini nikajiongelesha, nikajiambia with this grade siwezi enda mahali, I think kurudia it will be better, but I was so anxious. Sasa nikirudia nitapata na nikianguka nikipata like unajua ni, and then kuna venye unaambiwa kuna mtu akirudia anaongeza na kuna mtu akirudia ana drop kabisa. So I was like, nikajiongelesha, my mom was there for me, they talked to me, na finally nikagather that confidence, nikasema wacha tu niende juu nisipoface fear siwezi, like nisipoiface siwezi get something out of it. And then another one ni Mr. na Miss Poya. Nikiwa high school my friends wangeniambia unaweza model, imagine you can, but I had that fear in me, like na nisipo win, unaona ile yenye unaogopa. So with the time nilikuja nikalearn in life you have to try everything. Una try kwanza ndio uone the outcome. So venye nilifika campus nikaongea na the current that time Mr. Poya mwenye alikuwa akanipea that nini moral, akaniambia ukitry ndio utajua. Okay, go do it, like usiweke mind ati unataka kuwin, just go do your best. Yeah,
The thing I'm getting from there, facing the fear, one of the things, and the other one, having someone to talk to wakati unapitia this issue, right? Someone is watching at home. Like I said, this is a huge thing. Kuna watu wanajua kudeal with it silently na kuna wale watu they are vocal about it, right? So you think speaking it out with someone who you can trust can help? Yeah? Like you've said you had a mentor, a friend, right? Who else do you think, kwa sababu unajua kuna wale watu probably speaking to authority figure, to them it be an issue. Who else do you think someone can talk to in such a time? Ezra?
For me, I think like there is no first place that you are the first one to venture into. There is someone who is or must have gone through that place. So identify like silently. You know, I had a quote that nowadays exposing your problems to people is like exposing your wound next to exposing your bleeding wound next to a shark, because they'll use it against you, and that is the nature of human beings. So you have also to be keen on whom inafaa niambie nani, or how am I saying it to people, because nowadays with our current generation we even lack confidence, because today they are my friends, tomorrow they are my foes, tomorrow they are my enemies. They'll use it against me as my weak point to pin me down. So I think one is identify someone who you are confident with them that this person has nothing against me. Like mtu kama mentor mwenye mbele yako, they have already achieved it, so they won't find any reason of fighting you or putting you down at that place. So identify kwa hii field niko, if it is academically, if it is modeling, maybe if it is speaking like me, who else is doing this? They must have faced the same challenges you're facing. There is no new challenge in any field. So amepitia hizo challenges umepitia. So identify umsee na nikienda kumwambia shida zangu napitia sai, ata relate na haraka sana. Trust me, you 10 years to come, I want to be one of the greatest poised speakers in the world. Trust me that if a young man at 18 or 17 would come to me and tell me the challenges they are facing, I'll just look at them and see myself there, because those are the challenges I'm facing right now. So identify such people and go to them. They are of help. Yeah.
I'll support what Ezra and the others have said, because you know nowadays trusting people, I don't know, it's so hard, because at times you can trust someone today, tomorrow anakuwa your enemy, and it's so hard to find someone that anaweza chukulia your problem like theirs, but at the same time you can find these people in this society. Si kila mtu anakuanga na roho mbaya ama roho ya chui ama roho ya I don't know. You can find people who are confident, and if you tell them your story they can really help you, because if you have a mentor, talk to them. If you have you know, some of our parents are also good, you can approach them, and si ati hawakupitia what you're going through at that time. So you can talk even to your parents, if you know your parents wanaweza kusikiza na kukuelewa, because some of us, our parents are like mentors outside there. Some of us, our parents are like the role model in the society. So you can talk to them. Don't run away from your problems. If you know you can't deal with them, try to find that person in the society where you know that I can trust this person and this person can really help me. Yeah.
I feel even as time is running out, you've really managed to bring out the issue of anxiety, and like we've said, this is something that affects all of us. And unfortunately, out here, without confidence, there's nothing much you can do, right? You have to, like you've said, find a way of dealing with it, and mentor, and especially someone you can talk to. It's really interesting that you brought the issue of friendship, because over the last time when we were talking about relationship, this is one thing that we really didn't touch on, and I feel like there's a reason for that, and probably in our next episode we're going to look deeper into it, right? We have to merge this with the internet right now, because I feel like a lot of people, even as you were talking about body image last time, people look at the best version of someone. Mi nikienda Instagram, nime-edit picture yangu, nime-post nikiwa kwa gari ya boss wangu probably, and you feel like where you are in life, you're not even where you're supposed to, and you base your confidentiality, or your confidence out of someone else's point of view, right? You feel like what you're dealing with right now, someone else may not understand, right? So even as you're finishing your last point when it comes to appreciating yourself and having that confidence of going for what you need in your life.
Yeah, let me just start by saying it's good to face your fears, and it's also good to trust yourself before trusting others with your issues, because you are the first person when you are affected and infected with what's going on in your life. So first and foremost, jipende, jiamini, jitegeme before you go outside there and trust other people. Yeah.
Because you said first of all, I'll say second of all. I think Chevu, you've brought something important. I think itanipita that right now, the way I portray myself on social media, that is not me. We just don't have to lie at ourselves. Ni watu, it's just a small percentage do venye atajipost FB ama kwa status, hivyo ndio yeye uko. Because most of the times people, celebrities and everyone would want to bring their best self hapo nje kwa social media. Hiyo picha na post ni baada imepitia edits, baada ya kuchange nguo kadhaa, wamefanya wamesafisha uso, wamefanya kila kitu. We have to accept that. So wenye wako huko, that is them, and now there is you. You know yourself. Hakuna mtu there is no other person who knows you more than you. I know me. Kuna vitu maybe mnaniona na suit hivi amjui the way inakaa kwangu. You don't know, maybe. Yeah. So you can't know. Because, so that is how you are created. So the thing is, look at yourself and just accept, this is me. People will never appreciate you if you don't appreciate yourself. Never expect somebody to validate what you are doing. Kama we mwenyewe, haujaiji appreciate na kusema. So that is why I always tell people to sometimes appreciate yourself. Take yourself out. It improves your self-esteem. Don't just wait to be taken out. Sometimes buy yourself a watch and say, wow, this is for me. This is for me for coming out to another new month. Don't expect your boyfriend or girlfriend to do some things for you. Wejifanyie. Go do a haircut like myself today. I decided, I've looked shaggy for some time. Let me do a haircut for myself, not for any other person. So whether you appreciate me or not, I know I'm looking good. So that is how you should be. Some people will term it as ego, but sometimes ego helps.
Wow. Hey, you guys are so brilliant. So apparently yesterday mimi ushanganga like why should I like always post on social media photos of other people. So yesterday I posted something on WhatsApp, and I think Ezra aliangalia. It's just like telling myself like, Sheila, you this smart lady. Sheila, you're this girl who wakes up each and every time in the morning and you're looking for opportunities. Sheila, you are the person I love. Sheila, you're my girlfriend. Oh. Like, it's just good, you know, it feels good when you appreciate that person in the mirror. It's so good when you go to the internet and just talk about you. Like, no one is going to appreciate you in this world, by the way. If you don't first appreciate yourself, even those, a lot of Twitter retweets, izo za watu, no. At times people just retweet to make you happy, but when you, like Ezra said, take yourself for a date, go for a vacation. Yeah, just appreciate yourself. So when you've already appreciated yourself, that is, you're building yourself. Yeah.
I'm going to add on what my colleagues wamesema. Kama Ezra amesema, look good for yourself. Most of the time watu wana like they look good like for others, but to them it means nothing. So I think people should look good for themselves. And then again, watu wanafaa kuacha the past, like mtu alijaribu kufanya kitu akaona it was embarrassing, so hawezi rudia tena. I think mtu kama Churchill alianzisha Churchill show yake 15 years, anajaribu tu for 15 years, na sahii tunaona amekuwa very successful. So I think before you reach there unafaa ukuwa umetry mara mingi. Yeah, you should face your fears.
Venye Sheila amesema, it's true, you guys are brilliant. Like, for someone who is watching at home, and I have to say this, the conversation you're having here, that those people who are like older and they can benefit from this, because unfortunately nobody sits down and teach you how to have self-confidence, you know. Sometimes this is something that people have to fall down 1,000 times before they feel like, no, there's no other place that I can do this other than here, right? So when I hear guys like you sitting down here and telling us like it has to start with you, like you have to believe in yourself, I mean, what else can I add on this, right? And one more thing that I can add even as you're finishing up is wanasemanga, you guys have given examples ya Churchill and all that. Wanasemanga kwa memes, unaona mtu amepanda inaitwa podium like number 1 and people are cheering for you. Wanasema the way you're amazing, you're the it person and all that, yeah? But you can't imagine the number of times that person has failed before afike penye yako, and if that person would have given up day 1, yeah, kama uningetuma risky message once and sema sasa sitaituma text tena, you know. So I feel like this conversation that we've been having from the beginning, I'm hoping next week we're going to finish up on this conversation at the internet, right? But it builds down to it, right? Internet is there, it's amazing, it's something that is cultivating who we are as a society right now and the skills and all that, but how are we going to ensure that it's not affecting us in a negative way, right? Thank you guys. Mkirudi shule msalimia tuwa Presbyterian, right? I'm hoping next time actually we might even have time kwenda kule. We have a program kule shuleni, si ndio? Yeah? Mtatu invite? Sawa. So I've been speaking to Maureen, Ezra, Sheila and Aima. And of course this conversation is something that if you're joining us late and you haven't watched it, wenda YouTube, tafuta Youth Space. It's up to you guys, but then ukienda kuandika Youth Space patikane, you have to watch it over and over again. Ka upati Youth Space the first try, andika Youth Space CAS, just after the links, yeah, find it there, because the conversation we've been having before this has been building up to the conversation that we're going to have next week. Na inakunga hapa CAS TV every week, same time, same place. Mimi naitwa Chemtai Kiri. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you on my next one. Good night. Bye.